RDTDaily.com presents a Tarabuster with comedian Tara Devlin.
Well, hello. Hello, everybody. This is Tara Devlin. Thanks for hanging out. I feel very far away from the action here. We meet here at this channel on days that I can have a show. We do our regular... Why does everything sound weird? You guys will let me know that it sounds okay, right? When we get it. I like Wednesday shows, I have to say. It feels a little bit less stressful. It's more chill, more like hanging out. I appreciate that. So, yeah, you guys on the chat, let me know how it sounds. Sounds and looks good. Thank you, Jim. And thanks for hanging out. Yes, so we meet here on our regularly scheduled time, which is Friday. We have a Friday night get together, and then we try to do one during the week because I can't be away from you guys too long because I get stuck in my head. I get some stinking thinking. I need backup. When I always say you don't go into your mind alone. You take your friends. You take backup. You call for your compatriots to talk you off the ledge. So let's see. Well, if you can become a patron, please do. I'm not going to go into the whole thing, whatever. Patreon.com/Tara Devlin. That'll help keep this show going and growing. It is, this is the show. I mean, we don't really have a great set. It's my house. So, soon I'm getting the living room painted in a couple of weeks. That should be good. Getting rid of those CDs off the wall. At least they're not 8 tracks, right? I don't know. I got to do something with them. I guess I could sell them or something. I think they have some things you could sell. I don't know. Whatever. I have so much shit to do. I have to do my taxes too because I filed an extension. And now it's coming up. So I have like a lot of things going on. Just the minutia of life. Booty has to go to the vet tomorrow. Little Boudica. She's going to be fixed soon. She's not getting a good fix tomorrow. Tomorrow's her pre-op. I guess they got to take her blood or something. Make sure she's cool. She's cool beans to go. And it's harder for a female. So, because they're basically giving the female cat a hysterectomy. So it's a major operation. And I'm not looking forward to her being in pain. I don't like it. You just want your kids to be happy at all times. So she'll be happy. Anyway, I went out looking for Marty last night again at 2 a.m. I set my alarm, went out with a trap. Somebody told me that I'm hearing all these rumors, whatever. Somebody told me they saw a kitten. There goes a little Boudica. And I went to the location, and I'm telling you, nobody was out there. I could have been murdered, right? If you're a right winger, I guess that's probably the best way to do it. Come out and meet me at 2 a.m. when I'm looking for lost kittens. So, yeah, I don't know. I caught nothing except not a lot of sleep. So, let's see. Where do we begin? All right, so we have a lot of work to do. Whatever. And for those who don't know, Marty is a rescue kitten that jumped out the window. And I can't find him. It's terrible. It's a horrible thing. I don't know what happened to him. I just hope wherever he is, he's safe. If somebody picked him up. Or, I don't know. It's a mystery. It really is. So, his brother is doing great. Okay, whatever. That's not why we're getting together. There's so much to talk about. I wanted to like I was saying, this show on Wednesdays during the week, because we don't really have the tyranny of the clock to worry about as much. So I'm not sure how. I'm going to try to keep it like two hours. All right, because I think that after I see the stats after an hour and a half, people are everything goes. Nobody likes a 5-hour show. All right, and I got to get to sleep. So, and you keep them wanting more. I have so much shit to do. That's the other thing. Whatever. Why am I'm talking like I'm at my therapist. I need my therapist right now to process a lot of this shit. But I got you. So here we are. Yeah, the mock impeachment we're going to talk about. I don't know. I mean, really, what's to say about that? It's a show. It's a sham. I'm sick of it already. I think I'm glad, frankly. Look, let them do it. They got nothing else. This is who they are. Everything is a show with them. And honestly, I'm so sick of them. I don't know who votes for these people. How much do you have to hate yourself? And how much do you have to hate this country and the people in it to continue to vote for these unfit clowns who do nothing for the American people? And I have to say, now that you're reminding me on the chat, you guys, that I saw, you might have seen it. I forgot to put this in my little rundown, but the White House the White House sent a letter to major media outlets and basically telling them to do some journalism. And I was glad to see this, frankly. This is from Daily Kos. No, let's see. No media report on the House impeachment inquiry targeting President Biden is complete without prominent coverage of the fact that Republicans have no evidence of wrongdoing by Biden and are instead basing their drive to impeach on lies. Unfortunately, a lot of media coverage is incomplete in this exact way, leading the White House to send a letter to major media organizations calling on them to do better at reporting the facts. And I'm glad to see that they're pushing back, and this is written by Laura Clausen from Daily Kos. But the White House is saying to the major media outlets, and it's like about time. Maybe it's about time that these major media outlets are shamed. I mean, we talk about them on the show all the time here, that you know how I feel. I believe that and it's not just a belief, we have the research to back it up, that it is the media that can be traced to our divisions. I mean, there's so many other, it's not just that one thing, but it's where it all starts. The Telecommunications Act of 96, signed by Bill Clinton, which enabled the consolidation of our media, which actually is what it created. It allowed the creation of Rush Limbaugh and these silos of information that the American people now live in, where the goal of half of these outlets, the right wingers, is not to inform their victims / viewers. It's to divide them. It's to pour lies into their heads. That's why Fox News has to pay nearly $2 billion for these lies, and the lawsuits keep coming because of the lies. It's unconscionable, because you know that at the time they were lying to their victims / viewers, they knew that they were lying. They were doing it deliberately. And it's absolute malpractice. This is why we're up against a coup. This is why we have these maggots running around talking about the Biden crime family. I mean, give me a break. I don't know about you, but does this whole Biden crime family thing ring ring true to anybody? I mean, it just seems to me it's falling on. I mean, I know how I feel, but because, whatever. I'm not like, I don't hate Joe Biden, frankly. And, when during the primaries and whatnot, I was a Bernie-crat and still am. But I'm not, I mean, whatever. I'm voting for Joe Biden. I don't give a shit. And there's no other choice in this selection right now. We have a coup that we have a duty to thwart. And frankly, it's, Biden is not, hold on a second. Let me lower this. Biden has, how do I put this? He's been, I know that I'll probably hear from some liberals. I am a liberal, but whatever. I get messages from left of me, I guess. I don't know. Am I left? I think I am. I always thought I was. But telling me to call out Biden. I mean, I don't really believe that this is the election to make a statement, because we're up against a coup, and the goal, I believe, we have to work within the system that we have at this moment to stop these filthy fascists from destroying the country, from destroying democracy once and for all. And there is no hope otherwise if they get into office. And forget the, even the ability to push anybody left. We'll be set back to not just before the progressive era, but we'll be set back pre-American Revolution. And yes, Haiku on the chat says Biden has done a way better job than what I voted for, and I agree. I've been pleasantly surprised that he hasn't been the conservative that he always was during the years in public office that we know Biden. And that's the other thing. So talking about the Biden crime family doesn't seem real. It doesn't seem realistic, because we know Joe Biden. He has released his tax returns forever and ever. He's not out there living, in a golden friggin' penthouse with gold toilets and trophy wife number 3. He's whatever. He's not like he's living in a potato sack, but it's we know what he seems to be living within the means, and to say that he's got all of these, he's some kind of mastermind of this crime syndicate, because this is what they keep saying. Where's the quid pro quo? And they use his statement. This was when he was vice president, saying that he fired, or it wasn't just him, but it was the our Democratic allies wanted the Ukrainian prosecutor they wanted him to be removed, and he was, because he was an obstructionist to prosecuting the corruption going on in Ukraine. And the Republicans are saying that it's the exact opposite, that Biden touted him, the firing of this Ukrainian prosecutor, because he was going after Burisma. But the fact is, this is the fact, it was the exact opposite. The Ukraine, partly as this fledgling democracy, they were trying to root out corruption. And this prosecutor was he was part of the old guard, and he was somebody. So, for example, in Ukraine, this is what people were sick of, and that's why partly how Zelensky got elected on a reformist platform, If you wanted anything done in Ukraine, if you went to the DMV, if you had any dealings with the government, you had to bribe people, and the citizens were sick of it. So that's what the Republicans, I suppose, would like to happen here. That's the kind of system that happens all over the world when there is no administrative state, which is what the Republicans want to do. They want to destroy and tear down the administrative state and inject their filthy fascist flunkies in there, politicizing everything. Politicizing the bureaucracy, which is, part of how you overthrow a democracy. But that's an aside. The other, it's not a side, but it's not what we're really talking about right now. But so they say that this is what is driving me up the wall, because that the filthy fascist Republicans know they're lying. They're presenting this incident with the Ukrainian prosecutor absolutely, deliberately, disingenuously to their dupes, because they hate the people who vote for them. They have absolutely no respect for the people who vote for them. They know how easily manipulated they are. They know how easily played they are. So it's to them, they're like, it's easy to lie about this incident. See, we have him right here touting that he got rid of the Ukrainian prosecutor. If that were the case, if Biden was the head of a crime family and he was he wanted this Ukrainian prosecutor gone because of he was prosecuting his son on the board of Burisma, you think he would sit there and discuss it with our NATO allies on tape in front of an audience? It wouldn't be something that he would, pat himself on the back for. And it wasn't just Joe Biden wanted this guy gone. This was the policy of NATO and our NATO allies. It wasn't just the United States. It was all our Democratic allies wanted this prosecutor gone. That's the history. And it's so, I can't take these Republicans because, they just simply continue to lie. That's partly how we know they have nothing. I mean, what the fuck is an impeachment inquiry? It's another word for it is, I guess, fishing expedition. Or maybe if you were a Trumpanzee, you'd call it a witch hunt, right? Because keep digging. You find nothing. They keep wasting everybody's time. Every time they get put in power, despite receiving fewer votes, they waste everybody's time. They do nothing for the American people. They have no ideas. They have no plans. They deliver on nothing but division and lies and death. Everything they touch, they destroy. They have no business being anywhere near the halls of power, much less in the halls of power. I can't even fathom sometimes the depths of their unfitness. It's unbelievable. But you gotta blame the people who vote for them. And I keep saying, don't you have any shame? Assholes who vote for these idiots? You should be ashamed of yourself. And that's why I'm so sick of corporate media sticking a microphone in front of these assholes' mouths and asking them what they think. We know what they think. It's not that they don't think that swiftly. They're not that smart. They are being led by their fragile little fear-based large amygdalas and their racism, their mal-informed brains, and they need to be informed. So that's why I'm really glad that the White House is calling out the major media outlets to and calling them to actually commit some acts of journalism. It's a disgrace. Really think about it. Why? And you know how I talk about the polls all the time. These effing polls. That's all they do. Are polls. We don't need to poll these morons. Why are you polling morons? Why don't you inform them? And the fact that these idiots, if they believe, oh, Joe Biden he was bragging that he got rid of this prosecutor, then inform the people. And when you have a right winger on your show, or you play a clip of one of these morons spreading this lie, stop it in the middle and say, this is a lie. This is the opposite of actually what happened. For example, here's I just want to say, like, these are the people that they put microphones in front of. This is a montage from TYT, who, they go out and they interview some of these morons, and let's check in the morons.
Most dangerous thing in the country is right now.
Biden.
In what way?
Like we're on the verge of World War III if he doesn't stop what he's doing right now. The destruction to the economy, everything.
The destruction
everything is a
of
mess.
the economy.
The economic
Everything.
numbers, the ones that we've relied on for decades to tell us where the direction of the country, are actually been pretty good lately. In what way do you anticipate World War III from what Biden's doing?
Because you have all the other countries coming together, pulling out of the American dollar and having meetings with one another without Biden being involved.
Where is
And they
this
have
happening?
no respect for him.
Up there.
Where do we know that
Wazoos?
to be true?
I've seen that all over. I
You've
mean,
seen
I
it
watch
all over.
news. I go on social media and get a lot of information off there because I don't trust the news sources a
I
lot,
see.
I was going to ask you what the most dangerous thing in America is right now, but the most dangerous thing in America to me might be having this sign and that shirt at a Trump rally.
Well, when
There's
I've
a
watched
normal people there.
what's happened to our
That's good.
state and the fact that they are
It's good
having
to see
a
a normal
leadership,
people.
monumental leadership conference here, and it invited Trump to come to that, it just blows me away
Yep.
that there's that kind of stupidity in this state. I really apologize to the rest of the country.
What is the most dangerous thing
Accept
happening
your
in this
apology.
country right now?
The invasion of all the people that are
right.
coming into our
Yes,
country
there you
right
go.
now. It's creating all kinds of issues. It's
Right,
creating
right,
crime.
what?
It's creating
Up your-
economic hardship
in
for
your
the American
mind?
people.
Yes.
It's
Hardships, crime. In fact, as we know, the statistics that we have, it's not creating crime because these migrants who are coming here, they're so petrified of being sent back, they're not committing crimes. In fact, immigrant populations in the United States commit less crimes. There's a lower crime rate in the immigrant populations than in native-born, but do not let reality interfere with your racist, xenophobic, and every other phobic talking points. It really does. When we scratch the surface, you don't have to scratch that hard. It comes down to racism and bigotry in all its various ugly forms.
It's just really destroying the country. That's the biggest thing.
We're a country of immigrants, right?
Well, we are a country of immigrants, but legal immigrants, not being
If you are seeking asylum, if you're fleeing a failed state we helped create, and you present yourself at the border and said, I would like to declare asylum in your country, that's a legal route to the United States. Asylum seeking, it's part of the laws that we helped craft after World War II, so another Holocaust would never happen again. But what are these people now? They like Holocausts. They're dreaming of putting people in camps. Now, I love how, and I mean love with scare quotes, how whenever these right-wingers, whenever they have to say they want to denigrate FDR, they'll talk about the internment camps. Oh, FDR put people in camps. Well, we all know that these filthy fascists of today, they are dreaming of putting people in camps. And if we went back in time, that would be the only thing they would agree with FDR on, would be putting the Japanese in internment camps, and everybody else they could put in internment camps. So they're so transparent in everything they do. They're so easily led and easily played and easily manipulated, and it really does come down to racism. And I'm just so sick of them.
Being paid for by BlackRock and George Soros and all those big people.
What are they going to do when George Soros passes away? You know what they're going to do? They're going to continue to repeat his name, and just like they did with Hugo Chavez. Hugo Chavez had something to do with stealing the election, apparently. So it doesn't matter to them. It's magical thinking. They live in a fantastical world as it is, where everything is black and white. There's no shades of gray. It's the scary, complex world is too much for them. That's why they like big authoritarian, well, even small, tiny, fragile little bitch authoritarians who puff themselves up to be big, but really that's the hallmark of being a scared little bitch. But anyway, they need these daddies, these big daddies, to save them from the scary, complex world of others who don't know their place. And that's what it's about. That's why they hate democracy. How many times I got to say it? It's the truth. That's why instead of sticking a microphone in their face, now and this guy from TYT, is the exception, let's say, because he's just pointing out what a bunch of morons they are. So that's the only goal. That when you stick a microphone in a Trumpanzee's face, is to highlight how stupid they are, and maybe that's too harsh, how malinformed they are. And the entire reason to engage with them would be to try to inform them, and try to break through their closed minds. But when you can't do that, you just got to keep evolving without them. You got to keep moving on without them. These are the albatrosses around our national necks. They will come kicking and screaming, but you don't give them power. You don't give them the means to destroy the country that they can only pretend to love. And that's what they're doing. Everything that they talk about, like I was just talking about destroying the administrative state. We've been hearing this from Steve Bannon from forever, right? And then recently, what's his face? Vivaswamy is talking about how he's going to fire 75% of the bureaucracy, and these are unelected bureaucrats standing in the way of the people, which is right out of the Nazi playbook. And that's the only thing that should be the response to a statement like that. Well, that's exactly what Nazis did. And we need a non-political bureaucracy. That's part of how democracies function. Everything can't be boiled down to politics. That's also why we have judges, supposedly, with a lifetime appointment, so they aren't swayed by the whims of politics. It's also why you have professors that have tenure, so they aren't worried about losing their jobs if they say something wrong. That's freedom. That's freedom of speech, freedom of thought, freedom to discuss controversial topics. But these things are over the heads of right-wingers, and they hate that. as we see with them burning books and banning books all over the country. So, and it's always because, somebody, wait, I'm going to play that Kennedy reading. He's literally reading gay sex scenes from books that are being banned. And I'll get to that in a minute. But let's continue with these morons.
But asylum seekers are legal immigrants, aren't they?
Yeah, if they're true asylum seekers. But
Well,
to have
that's
the
why you go to
borders open, wide open.
That's why you go to the court. You see, you say, I'm an asylum seeker, and then you get your day in court. And Republicans are like, oh, catch and release, catch and release. These people, they show up for their court date because they're trying to stay here. And I think the percentage of the asylum seekers who show up, it's like 99%, 99 point something percent. And they, again, pisha, facts, numbers, reality. It's got a very liberal bias. Truth has a liberal bias, and they can't stand it.
When we know what it did to Europe, it's destroyed Europe.
What did it do to Europe? Oh, have you been to Europe? Have you been? Where? You seem very well-rounded, well-read, and just a world so worldly. It's like, what are you talking about? It destroyed everything's destroyed. Portland's destroyed, right? All the cities are burnt to the ground. That's where these people live, in their minds. It's really everything's in their minds. When the tax cheating, draft dodging, wannabe dictator con man with the fake university and the vitamin scam squatted in the White House despite receiving fewer votes, they were living in a utopia, right? Even though we had more mobile morgues on the street, right? There was so much death happening during COVID that we couldn't keep up with it. There were mobile vans on the street, refrigerated morgues on or whatever. It was refrigerated trucks substituting as morgues on the street because there were so many corpses. And then, of course, we had the mass graves. I mean, nobody really recalls the mass graves of the Trump administration as much as they should, I think, because what fantastic, greatest president, I know like Vivek Ramaswamy in his bid to be the vice president says that Trump is the greatest president of the 21st century that we've had or whatever. And okay, what greatest president of the 20 whatever century leaves office with over 1 million dead, right? That is a failure. That's a failure. And it's not about 1 million dead because that's on par with what was going on with the rest of the world. No. If we were like the rest of the world and not a bunch of morons, if we didn't have a con man trying to divide people and tell them, and a fake news media apparatus, a fascist fake news media apparatus trying to divide people, then we would, I think the number was, let me look this up now that I'm saying this, because I know it's a lot lower. Let me look it up. Where should I look? Should I ask the AI? I hate this AI. I'm so sick of arguing with the AI. Let's see. If USA COVID death rate was on par with the rest of the world, is that a correct sentence? How many would have died during the pandemic? Let's see what it says. Oh, it says define the rest of the world. Let's say Europe. Rest of the world is, let's see. Well, I guess we could say rest of the developed is the developed democracies. All right, we're considering developed democracies a benchmark. As of my last update in September 21, here are some rough estimates. Usually I start arguing, let's see, with the AI because they're like, oh, you know the other thing I noticed with this AI? They say they phrase a lot of things like right-wingers because they get everything from the internet, of course, and whatever people are conversing. They have said things like Democrat politicians, things like that, that drive me up a wall. And I have corrected them. And I said, why are you using the right-wing pejorative? And then they apologize. The AI apologizes and says it won't do it anymore. But it goes to show you, what we're up against. So let me see. Let's see. As of the September 21, the percentage of confirmed cases that result in death, 2 to 3% in developed democracies. It's a bit lower. Oh, I don't know. This is not whatever. It's not giving me the 20% of the U.S. population would be roughly 66 million people. If assuming a case fatality rate of 1.5%, we would have lost approximately 900,000 people. Let's see. How many have died? How many have died from COVID? And it's going back up. I think this is not accurate, though. Let's see. Altogether. Whatever. I don't know why I'm going on this tangent. Together. Come on, man. Oh my God. I should have just asked Google. How many have died from COVID in USA? Official, whatever. 1,127,152 deaths. Okay, whatever. That's a lot of death. Ain't that a lot of dead in an administration? Can you imagine? And people want that back in office. And they're like, oh, he was the greatest president. Well, if you're an authoritarian follower, if you don't like democracy, if you're incapable of functioning in a free democratic society, then sure, I guess he's for you. And that's why they like him, because like we've discussed and we've had many empirical receipts to back it up, that the only thing that the average Joe Trumpanzee moron appreciates is triggering their fellow Americans. They enjoy that. They like upsetting their fellow Americans. They do hate this country, you understand? Because you can't call yourself a patriot and then hate just about everybody in the country. You just can't. You can't call yourself a patriot and drink liberal tears, right? And I've made the point before. I'm not trying to drink these assholes' tears. I want them to get help. I want them to have health care, living wages, retirement security, all that. Decent life that other countries just take for granted because it's the right of their citizenship to not have to needlessly die without health care, or be an indentured servant to a bank because they got an education. That's what the American dream. I mean, the American dream. What is the American dream? Now, of course, it's always been just like the American democracy. It's been aspirational, not actualized. But, the American dream, the Republicans, conservatives, have redefined it from you to can have a decent middle class life to you too can be a billionaire, which is, just like how some billionaires, some of these filthy fascists who should not exist, like Elon Musk. We shouldn't have to be dealing with this Dr. Evil thwarting military operations of an American ally. That's just absolutely unacceptable. So, but, we shouldn't have to, why should I have to explain this to these filthy fascists? They like this stuff, they like having strongman rule, which in itself is anti-American. It's anti-democratic. George Washington had the opportunity to become the just another king. He had the opportunity to continue holding on to power as military dictators have done for time immemorial. And he knew, because we were setting up this new grand experiment in liberal democracy, he knew that everything he was doing, he was setting the standard, and peacefully stepping down and relinquishing power was the benchmark that we had a tradition until the filthy fascist Trump squatted in the White House despite receiving fewer votes. And these assholes who call themselves patriots when they're nothing but traitors, they should be ashamed to want to not even recognize that. These are the same people. They wear these freaking tri-corner hats and look like like they're colonists. Like, if this were 1776, they'd be the loyalists. It's unbelievable. But okay, let's keep going with this
country. They want to bring down the United States.
But we don't have open borders, right?
We do have completely open borders right now.
If we had open borders, there wouldn't be so many people on the other side trying to get in, would there?
No, our borders are wide open.
Don't try to confuse
They truly
them.
are wide open.
Yeah,
the American
they are.
people
Don't contradict the baby. They are wide open. He believes in Santa Claus too. He believes that a tax-cheating, serial bankrupt con man with a fake university and a vitamin scam is a great businessman because he saw it on reality TV. Don't interrupt the baby's magical thinking. Yes, the open borders, open borders, open borders. They don't know what the fuck they're talking about. And as we know, the numbers, people crossing the border, it's down. But that doesn't matter. We've always had people trying to cross the border. And that's not because, that's because they got to escape the failed states we helped create. So, there are many factors that cause people to leave their homelands, and we try to address these factors. And the real problem that these right-wingers have, of course, is that the people coming across are brown, and they don't like that.
know the truth because we have a media that doesn't come out and tell the truth.
I've been down to the border, and I haven't seen open borders. I see border patrol everywhere. Have you been down?
I've seen many videos of all the people crossing, and I mean, we're talking, there's probably close to 10 million people already that have come across that border. Probably more than that, I would say.
Just pull it out of your ass. Why not a zillion people coming across the border? Well, the statistics are crossings were widely expected to increase after pandemic-related asylum restrictions ended in May, but they fell in June to the second lowest of Biden's presidency after new rules that make it extremely difficult to get asylum when crossing the border illegally. It doesn't matter what you do, though, because Republicans never let go of a racist-ass talking point until they've beaten it to the ground, until they have something else to hold on to. But it's just rinse and repeat. It's just recycle, rinse, repeat, recycle, rinse, repeat. You know, racism, be afraid. Soon they'll be talking about caravans, because they got nothing. They got nothing else. They bring nothing to the table. Everything they touch, conservatism destroys. Let me rephrase that without, stammering. Conservatives destroy everything they touch. Prove me wrong. Everything that makes this country great was a progressive and is a progressive initiative. Conservatism never improves the situation. All it does, all conservative policies do is concentrate money and wealth in the hands of a few and divide people. That's it. That's all they have to offer. They have suffering, division, strife, lies, twisted. They twist people. They make lives harder. I mean, everything that Republicans, like this asshole who's on Medicaid, or Medicare or whatever, he's probably right now, maybe he's taking diabetes medicine, like everything that Republicans block. Republicans are trying to block right now. They're trying to stop Joe Biden's, the policy that finally allowed the U.S. government to negotiate drug prices with Big Pharma. The Republicans are trying to block it. I mean, and these assholes are going to vote for these people again and again and again, because how much money do you need? The rich need more money, clearly, because these assholes have been so propagandized by the filthy fascist media that has to pay billions of dollars in restitution because they're a bunch of liars. They have been telling them that the only thing that makes America great is making the rich richer. And then the assholes like this guy, and I've told you stories about people that I know who are on Medicaid, taking Socialist Security, on Social Security disability, and telling me, debating, let's say, no poor person ever gave me a job. This is what they've been told, that in order to have a functioning economy, an economy that works for all, a middle class, let's say, which used to be, it was, we had a time in American history called the Great Prosperity until Reagan came along and the Republicans destroyed that, because the Great Prosperity, that meant that the American people were just too damn uppity for conservatism. They need you nice and desperate. The rich, the ones who the Republicans actually work for, they need the working class dupes like this idiot to be nice and desperate and divided and scared and fighting people who are lower on the ladder so they can continue to steal. So they can continue to basically spit in George Washington's face. You want to talk about the peaceful transfer of power. I guess Trump thinks that Washington was a dupe, right? A sucker, a sap. He wouldn't be caught dead peacefully relinquishing power. Are you kidding me? And plus, Washington, like all of the Continental Army, they didn't get paid for years. And still, they fought and put their asses on the line to create this country. That's the whole Newburgh conspiracy was about the officers going to march on Washington because they weren't going to, they wanted to demand payment, and Washington talked them out of it. And we've talked about this before, because the eyes of the world were on this thing, and they were expecting it to fail. And if you did this, and Washington talked them out of it, if you did this, you would denigrate, you would devalue the sacrifices of that we've all had to pay for everything that we've created. And they would have really just killed the grand experiment in the crib if they had done that. And yeah, but what do these people know? You know, that's giving up power. That's for suckers. You know, they like Putin. They think that's strong when it's nothing but cowardice. It's. I mean, what a fragile little bitch Putin is, really, and all the people that surround him. And then I mean, can you believe? I'm sorry, I have this guy's face up there. That these filthy traitors, like the guy in the with his face, that they will vote for somebody who said that Putin, how did he put it? He said that he is the apple of Putin's eye. Right? What a fucking disgrace. Can you believe that? Did you hear that? Let's see. Trump boasts about his relationship with Putin. This is from The Independent, saying he was the apple of his eye. Putin would never have gotten into Ukraine, but that's just on my relationship with him, the asshole said during his appearance on Fox Business. He said he would never have launched a war in Ukraine if the four times indicted former American president was still in power. Mr. Trump's remarks came during his appearance on Fox Business's Clay Travis and Buck Sexton show. He went on to make a bizarre comment about his relationship with Putin. He said Putin would never have gotten into Ukraine, but that's just on my relationship with him. My personality over his, he said. I was the apple of his eye. And he would say, don't ever do it. It was tough stuff there, but he would never have done it. Can you believe that? Can you believe that fucking clown? And worse, can you believe the morons that want to vote for him? I was the apple of Putin's eye. There was a time when if anyone spoke like that, they would be disgraced. I mean, the Republican Party would have drummed them out. I guess that's when they were Republicans. They wouldn't have gotten anywhere near any power, saying that they were the apple of some autocrat's eye, some anti-American dictator who inflicted his manias on this country, that wants to divide this country and works to divide this country, that sends spies and inflicts our public discourse with lies and divides people. That's what they want. You know, destroy each other from within. And I remember when Trump, before he ended up squatting in the White House despite receiving fewer votes, the FBI went to, remember, I think I played this clip. There was, I think it was CNN, with some dumb bitch was running a Facebook group that what actually was generated from one of these troll farms in Russia. They created all these pro-Trump Facebook groups, and then these and other groups, on social media, and then those groups. That's who that guy who was just murdered by Putin. That was what he did. It was part of his how he got in with Putin, and they went to the lady's house. The FBI went to the lady because they were saying, "Listen, bitch, you're being manipulated by our enemies, by America's enemies. They're turning you into a dumbass, a useless idiot." And she was like, "You're fake news. Get out of here." Remember that lady? Let's see if I have that. I know I have it somewhere. But she's like, "Oh, fake news. You're fake news." Let me see. I don't know what I would call it. Facebook Trump? Fake? I gotta get a better system here. I know I had it. Whatever. It doesn't matter. But you're fake news. I can still see the lady in my mind going into her house. You're fake news, FBI. That's why Republicans had to denigrate the FBI. This is what they do, and what all Nazis do. You got to destroy. You destroy the feeling. You destroy what the fondness, the warm feelings, the trust. That's how you destroy a country from within. But here in reality, here's what John Bolton said went on behind the scenes with the filthy fascist America-hating Trump and his relationship with dictators.
Trump has this impression that foreign leaders, especially adversaries, hold him in high regard, that he's got a good relationship with Xi Jinping, Vladimir Putin, Kim Jong-un. In fact, the exact opposite is true. I have been in those rooms with him when he's met with those leaders. I believe they think he's a laughing fool. And the idea that somehow his presence in office would have deterred Putin is flatly wrong. If anything, if Trump had won a second term and done what I think he intended to do, which is get out of NATO, Putin would have just waited and let him do it. And even the weakening of NATO would have made it a lot easier for the Russians to have prevailed.
Exactly. I can't believe I'm agreeing with John Bolton, but he's right. At least, some of these right-wingers, as much as I hate John Bolton, well, what do I hate? I dislike, right? I dislike his policies. I dislike him, but I do appreciate him speaking out in reality, talking about what a disgusting fraud traitor Trump is, and what a con man, what a clown, how unfit, what a laughing fool. Yeah, of course they did. You think come on. Of course they did. They play him like a fiddle. They play him like a fool. He's susceptible to flattery, like any little teenage girl. He's such a transparent jerk off. Like they have respect for him. Come on. He must be so jealous of Kim Jong-un and Putin hanging out. You think they're going to call him? What are you doing, Donald? No, you hang up. Please. They laugh at him. He's a fool. He's a useless idiot. It's like a useless idiot circle jerk. It rolls down to the useless idiots like that guy and all the rest of them. What's the what's the danger or whatever?
I think the most dangerous thing.
Let's see. Here's some more of them.
Fentanyl and the drugs.
Patriot. And that's the other thing. Come on. That's why I say become a patron, support the show, come hang out with us in the chat room at youtube.com/C4channel/Tarabuster, because we're taking back the term patriot. We are the patriots. We're the ones capable of functioning in a free democratic society. We're the ones following in the footsteps of George Washington, capable of relinquishing the power. Power is on loan. We're in this together. You know, we're fulfilling the dreams of the founders, or if not their specific dreams, the promises in our founding documents. We're making those founding documents not a exercise in hypocrisy, and that's our charge as patriots. That we work together and we come together and we leave nobody behind. That we invest in each other. That we understand that we're in this together. We're only as strong as our weakest link, and that means we have to build a society that works for all. And if we don't do that, we're backsliding. We're destroying the dreams of the founders. We're spitting in the face of the sacrifices of everyone who ever died for this country. And that's I talk about it because it's so offensive to me when I go into the cemetery, in Calvary Cemetery, and I see the graves from every war that America's ever fought in, especially the World War II, fighting fascism. And I see this, the young men. I think about these young men, their lives, 21 years old, 20 years old, 18. That's it. They gave their last full measure of devotion for this country. I see the graves of the Union soldiers, and I think of them too. These young men, always young men, that sacrificed. They gave their very lives for this country. Not so some filthy fascist dirtbag, some dictator wannabe can squat in the White House and use it like a hose from which to suck profit and discard. Can spit in the face. I keep saying spit in the face tonight, but can... I guess that's the best. Somebody will give me a better phrase, but to denigrate, I don't know. It really is a disgrace to take those sacrifices and make them in vain. I don't know. Could you imagine? I think about these people. And it says on some of their graves, it'll say, died in combat in Italy, in North Africa. I think of the battles. I think of everything that they went through. Their young lives, and hearing the news about Hitler going into Poland and Hitler, the appeasement, taking over the Sudetenland and trying to... whatever, everybody trying to appease him, and then the war breaking out in Europe, and you're hearing these news reports, and before, just these young people living their lives while all this is going on in the background, and then they happen to grow up right at the time when their country needed them to put on a uniform and go fight, and then they go through all of that to simply come home in a casket. And it's just, and all the people, I think about them standing around. I told you about that when I go into the cemetery, just imagine these these young people, the families, saying them goodbye, putting them in the ground. I mean, the horror of it all. Showing up, the chaplain showing up at their door. Everything that went to that we don't even, we take for granted. Like I told you about that. There's an incredible monument in Calvary Cemetery of First Lieutenant Alfred Inzarelli, and it has I can't even talk about it because it makes me cry. But underneath, him and his mother are buried in the same grave. And it describes how she died 2.5 years later of a broken heart. So everyone sacrificed. For what? For this asshole? For these assholes? All right. I got more to talk about, so I'll get off this side.
It's kind of, it doesn't seem like it's the most important thing, but it's so big, but it's also getting hit by all these political things that are happening. I think it's just
clown?
Unbelievable how...
Could you imagine? Whenever I see, it's like seeing a gay Republican. I see someone with darker pigment, all decked out, with this MAGA moron, stupid clown show outfit. And imagine that's how do they go home for Thanksgiving? They have dinner with their family. It's like it must be really difficult.
Our streets look right now with people using drugs and everything, and no one's helping and no one's even trying to stop what's going on.
No one's doing nothing, no one's doing a damn thing. Thank you, Jim, for your super chat. You're always doing a damn thing, Jim. Thank you.
With the homeless.
What do you think is the most dangerous thing going on in the country now?
Maybe the southern border.
Yeah.
Might be the biggest problem right now. But we've got a lot of other ones too, so don't get me wrong.
All the, what is that? The great replacement theory. And, I'm so sick of these right-wingers because they're being told this. You understand? This is why the media is ground zero of all of the shit that ails us, because if it's not this, it's another thing. Now they're talking about what? Trans people, books, woke. They're so easily led and easily played. And then one day soon, it will fall by the wayside to be replaced by something else. Just like how we had to endure all the tantrums about death panels and, where's all the death panels? I heard there was going to be a lot of death panels with Obamacare. Oh, we had death panel. We still have death panels. It's the corporate media. I mean, not corporate media. It's the, what do you call it? It's the for-profit health racket. Corporate media. They're not really a death panel. You know what I was saying? I have corporate media stuck in my brain. Because they are they are part of the problem of the for-profit health racket, because they run cover for it. As if it's, because they're always like, when you're talking about Medicare for all, how are you going to pay for it? How are you going to pay for it? How does every other fucking country pay for it? That's how we pay for it. All right, so let's move on a little bit to another story I wanted to do. I'm looking at the time. I can't believe it flies when you're having a lot of fun. There's a couple of stories. And we're going to have our show on Friday, too. But I wanted to talk about how Republicans, really, you can't take them anywhere. And I say this all the time, that they are unfit. They're unfit to lead a drunken conga line. They're unfit to hold leadership positions in a modern nation. And I'm sure you saw, it was all over the social media, how Lauren banned from the bowling alley Boebert. She also got banned from her local theater, some theater in Denver. She's going through a divorce. She didn't wait. She didn't wait for the ink to be dry. She's not actually divorced. That's the other thing. Is she's not actually divorced yet. She filed papers. Her husband's been served. They're not actually divorced, but she's out. She's hopping and popping with some new dude who is, I think he owns a bar. They went and found out who the hell he was. That poor bastard. She put her I guess old habits die hard. There's some speculation that she was, she was kind of selling herself. She was on sugardaddymeat.com, and she wanted to be a famous she wanted to find somebody to give her the American dream, since that's what the American dream is now. You can't have a decent middle class life. You just pull yourself up by your bootstraps and go on sugardaddymeat.com. And so Lauren Boebert, she stuffed her body into a dress that was about 3 sizes too small, and went to the theater to see a play, a musical, Beetlejuice. And she is, this is the Republican mania. They are unfit, and they're also emotionally stunted children who think they're the center of the universe. So the center of the universe is a very crowded place filled with Republicans. Let me play the video. So she got kicked out. So here's from a few things that happened because of her abhorrent behavior. Apparently, she was vaping. She was videotaping. So she's sitting there vaping in front of people when that's not allowed. Of course, it's a freaking fire hazard on top of being a nuisance to your neighbors. And this is the thing. You see, how dare she? This is how you behave. You're in public. You're not in your living room. Nobody paid to be bothered by you. Everybody who went to the show that night, they wanted to have a nice time, to distract themselves from their lives, to see some professional entertainment. If you've ever been to a big Broadway production or whatever, I guess this is one of those. It's kind of amazing when you see live theater like that with people who are really at the top of their game. It's incredible. There's the way they sing and dance. It's wonderful to see. But you're not going there to see or to be harassed just by being in the mere vicinity of a freaking overgrown toddler like Lauren Boebert. And this is the congresswoman? It says everything about who they are, who Republicans are. Now, who votes for somebody like this? She has no business being in Congress. Not only is she an idiot, she is a horrible garbage person. And so here's from MidasTouch.com. They write, the city of Denver released over 4 minutes of surveillance. Let me see. I got it here somewhere. I'll play this while I'm reading this. So this is her getting kicked out. So that's the security guard getting up there, and she apparently was. She wasn't too happy in the beginning. So it said the Denver Post reported that Bobert and a companion received a warning after causing a disturbance and were later kicked out of the audience. So they gave them a warning first. It wasn't like, hey, dumb bitch, you're out of here. And they just wouldn't stop. So they were later kicked out of the audience for continued loud behavior. Officials for the venue said Boebert was vaping, singing, and illegally recording during the performance. The incident report said the two became argumentative and refused to leave until they were threatened with trespassing and police involvement. On Twitter, Boebert admitted to laughing and singing too loud. You see, because nobody wants to hear you. No one pay. I don't know what the seats cost, but usually when you go to a professional live theater production like the stupid Beetlejuice thing, are they doing that on Broadway too? Beetlejuice, yeah. It's not cheap. You know, you could pay, especially if you're sitting in an orchestra like she was, you're paying a couple of deuce there or more for a seat. So could be even more. If you go to Broadway, if you go into Manhattan, you could pay $600 for an orchestra seat. So for two, I should say, or maybe even because I went to the theater not too long ago. It was like $600, both 2 tickets. Okay, I saw what did I see? My friend came from California, and she wanted to see this show, and I said okay, and it was not cheap. What did we see? Oh, Kimberly Akimbo. It was good. It was pretty incredible. I mean, it was an experience, and so you're gonna pay that price. They want to wow you, of course, and they do. But so you know, that's what I mean about Lauren Boebert, though. People want they want to see the show. They don't, and it's so disrespectful to not just the audience, to the actors, to the performers, to everybody who works there. Like, they want to deal with this shit. Why should they have to deal with you? You're the congresswoman. Tell me somebody who is let's say Bernie Sanders, right? Could you imagine him behaving like that? Give me the name of anybody who's like a true public servant. Could you imagine? Could you imagine AOC behaving like that? Absolutely not. She wouldn't. Democrats don't behave like that because they know how to behave. That's why they're in the Democratic Party. They're in at least, they know how to adult. This is a grown-ass bitch with like 4 kids, right? 3 kids, 4 kids? 36 years old? And you act like that? And it speaks volumes to her absolute disrespect for everyone around her. Republicans are the center of the universe. She's got no business being anywhere near the halls of power because she's not working for the people, as her behavior can attest. She's selfish to a fault. She does not know how to act. And then, according to the reports and the theater, the person who escorted her out, the people, I should say, they wrote an incident report for the theater. I guess they have to do these things. So if anything comes back to bite them, they wrote how Boebert was saying, "Don't you know who I am?" Yeah, because it's your world, right? We just live in it. And she writes, here they are getting thrown out. And she goes on Twitter. She's trying to laugh it off, just like, remember when she lied and said that she missed the vote because it was a protest when the fact is she was late, and then she kind of just schlubbed it off like, I did it to protest, and she lied to her constituents' faces. But she made a big joke about how, what did she say? Here it is. Here's her tweet. It's true. I did thoroughly enjoy the amazing Beetlejuice at the Buell Theater, and I plead guilty to laughing and singing too loud. Could you imagine? You plead guilty to laughing and singing too loud. You don't know how to behave. Nobody wants to hear you sing. They didn't pay hundreds of dollars to be harassed, to listen to your friggin' rake on a chalkboard. It's bad enough to listen to her talk. Everyone should go see it if you get the chance. And please let me know how it ends. 'Cause I was banned from the theater like I was banned from the bowling alley. 'Cause I don't know how to behave. And she's at home. She's in her hometown. You would think she'd be on her best behavior, because these are her, I don't know if it's her district, but these are the people she pretends to represent. Here's Tara Jr. Come on, honey. Come on. You want to come up? Now you're not. Okay. He's like tapping on my leg here. And there she is being escorted out. And she's turning around. Could you imagine what she's saying? Oh, of course you can. She's like, don't you know who I am? She's got her finger up and wagging. Don't you? I'm going to get the mayor, she's saying, apparently. Wait till I tell the mayor. I'm going to get you. Yeah, here I am. Pointing and wagging my face. It's okay. You see, she snarked. She's all snarked out. Being condescending and snarky and, yeah. That's how she is. Because she's, a member of the party of personal responsibility. They never take responsibility. They're incapable of it. They act like they have the collective maturity of an emotionally stunted toddler. The entire Republican Party. Exactly. Jesus Christ. Where is it? Oh, here's, because somebody wrote, where is it? Come on, man. Let me find this. I gotta find it. Lauren Boebert. I thought I had it. I hate when I do that. A woman. Where the heck is it? Because somebody was at the theater. And they wrote about it. No, I can't fucking find it. Let me play a video while I try to find it. Because it was good. Let me see. This is why it's Wednesday. It's Wednesday on Tarabuster. If you can become a patron at patreon.com/TaraDevlin, that would help keep the show going and growing. Maybe one day we can get a system of, I don't know, archive a system where I can friggin' actually find things. Okay, here it is. A pregnant woman seated behind Bobert asked her to stop vaping during the show. The politician didn't care. So, from the Denver Post, and a surprise to absolutely no one. Bobert's outrageous behavior at Beetlejuice shows again her astounding sense of entitlement. Exactly. And that's it. That's who she is throughout her life. She's has a series of petty arrests. She's another one of these Republicans who are unfit, and they're well over their heads, but they don't know it. And that's the sign of insanity, of not knowing your limitations. When you're, and you see what I mean? They're unfit. She shouldn't be anywhere near the halls of power. She has no business being in government. She has no experience except for squatting in her seat. Well, she can't even squat in her seat. She jumps on her seat and yells like a baboon at the President of the United States during the State of the Union, because that's what she thinks governing is. She is a disgrace. I saw a video, I don't have it handy, but I wish I did, of her, and this is the day when kids go back to school, but a few months ago, some Uvalde survivors and their families went to Congress to lobby these filthy fascist nut jobs so kids don't have to needlessly die in class, but from assault weapons. And they made pins to commemorate memorial pins for to honor the children who died at Uvalde. They gave this bitch Lauren, banned from the bowling alley, Boebert, a pin, and she turned around and threw it in the trash because she is a garbage person. And the young person who was talking to her very respectfully and gave her a pin and a little placard that explained what the pin stood for was stunned. They couldn't believe that this horrible garbage person who pretends to be a representative had absolutely no respect for children who were turned into mincemeat by merely going to school because of the policies Lauren Boebert supports and defends. She's a horrible person. You understand? That's why her kids are horrible. She teaches them to be entitled like she is. Her neighbors can't stand her. She is in a perpetual argument with her neighbors. They don't know how to behave. We've played the 911 calls of Jason Boebert vandalizing the neighbors' mailboxes because the neighbor had the temerity to tell one of Lauren Boebert's brats to slow down on his ATV while he was riding it through the town or their block or whatever, saying, slow down, you're going to hurt somebody. There are kids here. There are pets here. And you're driving like a madman on this friggin' vehicle, and you're not even old enough to drive. And, Lauren Boebert's son, because he's been raised by an overgrown toddler, said to the neighbor, fuck you. That's incredible. That's who they are. Fuck you. That's how you behave with your neighbors? That's what you tell your kids? That's the example you set? And there's no repercussions. It's not like they were acting out of the ordinary. They were acting with impunity. They knew that their mother and their drunken father would do nothing because they're the same. They act the same. They don't know how to behave. You act like that at a theater? What's wrong with sitting there and enjoying the show? Why do you have to vape in a place where there's no smoking? Right? Unless you're just the center of the universe and rules don't apply to you. You vape. You're singing. Nobody. I mean, I when I went to see that Broadway show recently, if I was watching these professional singers and actors singing, and then some horrible bitch in a dress 2 sizes too small was singing next to me, and I would be absolutely outraged. Shut up. No one wants you to sing. They don't want you to open your mouth, period. When you talk, nobody wants to hear you. It's like you don't know how to behave. This is who they are. But it says it's not just her, you know what I mean? It's just who they are. Who votes for somebody like her? They knew who she was when they voted for her. They had the 911 call of her neighbors saying, "You know her. She's the damn congresswoman." And her jackass husband. And everything is a deflection and a distraction. Oh, when they point out her behavior, this is the Republicans, the party of personal responsibility is what they do. They say, oh, well, Joe Biden did something once at a theater, didn't he? They always do that. They bring up, well, now close the border. Well, like they closed the door to me at the theater. So, according to the Denver Post, a pregnant woman seated behind Boebert asked her to stop vaping during the show. The politician simply replied, no, because, the whole show was for her. She's the center of the universe. She doesn't work for anybody. She has no interest in others and caring for others and making sure that they are having a comfortable time. Everybody wanted to go out that night and have a nice time, but they had the misfortune of being in the vicinity of a Republican who is a disgusting garbage person, but I guess that's why she's in that party. They take all comers now. Traitors, ghouls, freaks, racists, Nazis, losers, con men, traitors, I said, yes. Oh, well, traitors are given. Insurrectionists, self-loathing, minorities of all sorts. Human shields, monsters, ghouls, ghosts of the Gilded Age. So the framing is easy. U.S. Rep. Lauren Boebert will probably try to spin her latest embarrassing incident as a culture war victory against the elitist liberals. The framing is easy. Those snobby stiffs in Denver don't know how to cut loose and have a good time. If they can't tolerate someone having a little fun at a live performance, described as a lusty riot in the Denver Post. Oh, and clearly Bobert was targeted for being a Republican by the patrons who complained about her behavior, right? Yes, everybody was picking on her. But the true arc running through the many Bobert scandals, whether they are performative or genuine, is her astounding sense of entitlement. Now, keep in mind, this is from the Denver Post, her hometown paper. And who wrote this? Excuse me. Megan Schrader. Tara Jr. is trying to get some attention, but come on, you want to come up? You gotta jump. Come on, jump. Come on. Oh my God. Okay, let's see. The true arc running through, is the astounding sense of entitlement. The tired trope of politicians throwing their titles around to excuse bad behavior is ironically true of Boebert. Is it ironic, though? I don't know. All right, come on. Here we go. Yes, there he is. Tara Jr. Tara Jr. Look up. Look up. Whee! Tara Jr. Tara Jr. Tara Jr. Bum bum. Where's my cat cam? All right, sit down. All right, let's see. Sorry, guys. It's a Wednesday. Okay, Bobert didn't care if she ruined the musical Beetlejuice playing at the Buell Theater for anyone else. And she certainly didn't care if the pregnant woman, the party of babies, pro-baby. They're pro-baby, everyone. Not pro-life. They hate life. They just like babies. They don't care if babies, they want to make babies dead, make babies ignorant, make babies suffer in work in a slaughterhouse, make their families, make them orphans when their families die of COVID or other various deaths by despair. She didn't care if the pregnant woman sitting behind her had to breathe secondhand smoke from a vape pen. Bobert denies that she was vaping, although she did admit to taking photos of the live performance, which is a no-no. The woman sitting directly, because they say that, if you go to the theater, they're like, no recording, no photos. It's distracting, too, for the actors. You see some fucking asshole with the stupid phone up. The woman sitting directly behind Bobert shared her story with the Post on condition of anonymity out of fear that there would be backlash from the Congresswoman and her supporters, who are the disgrace. They're all a disgrace. Her supporters? You should be ashamed. She provided me with the receipt for her tickets and a photo from the event that shows Bobert seated in front of her. The woman described the evening as surreal. She didn't recognize Bobert as Colorado's congresswoman who represents the western slope and southern Colorado. These people in front of us were outrageous. I've never seen anything like it. I've never seen anyone act like that before, the woman who lives in Denver and is in her 30s said. It wasn't until later during the play that someone informed her that the misbehaving theatergoer was, in fact, a member of Congress. Think about that. If that's not entitlement, they're all entitled, you see. That's the Republican way. You vote them out, they're entitled to the seat. Even though they lost. But it's theirs. They're entitled, you see. The woman says Bobert took multiple long videos during the first half of the performance. What are you going to do, bitch? Sit there and go, wee, this is when the Beetlejuice said Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice. And get the record, Get the cast recording. You dumb... Oh, God. When she asked Bobert to stop vaping, the Congresswoman simply said no, the woman said. Bobert was also kissing the man she was with and singing along loudly with her hands in the air. Oh, my God. I don't know how that audience didn't erupt in applause when that they dragged them out of there. At intermission, I asked, are there any other seats available? Can we sit somewhere else? The woman said, the usher said, you're not the first complaint we had. When the woman returned with her husband to the seat, she and Bobert She said Boebert called her a sad and miserable person. Well, I guess because fake news didn't apply. The guy she was with offered to buy me and my husband cocktails. I'm pregnant, she said. But, visibly pregnant. But the behavior continued, with Bobert using her phone to record several segments of the second half of the show. The rest of the story is captured on surveillance video showing Bobert and the unidentified man, who is now identified as some guy, some dumb bitch who wants to get in her boobs, I guess, because she's stuffed her. Don't you have any dignity, lady? You look like an escort, but okay, whatever. An unidentified man getting ushered out of the Buell as the performance is going on. Boebert's staff issued a tongue-in-cheek statement about the ordeal. I can confirm the stunning and salacious rumors in her personal time. Congresswoman Bobert is indeed a supporter of the performing arts. Gasp! And to the dismay of a select few, enthusiastically enjoyed a weekend of performance of Beetlejuice. To the dismay. Yeah. It's everybody else, right? Everybody else was the problem, not you, right, Bobert? Because if you had any integrity, if she had integrity, she wouldn't behave like this, of course. But if she did, she was drunk and high and acted like an ass, even though she's 36 years old with 3 kids and, she's a fucking congresswoman. You think the best thing what an adult would do, especially one who pretends to be a party of personal responsibility advocate, would say, I'm very sorry. I lost my head. I was having such a good time, and I was transported to kindergarten where my mommy told me I was the center of the universe, and that's where it all went downhill from there. And I realize now that I'm a grown-ass adult and a actual member of Congress. And, adults don't behave like that. Adults, when we get together in a group setting to see a live performance by professional actors, we don't, act like we're in our living room dancing to Dirty Dancing like Tara's aunt used to do. We act like we're capable of functioning in a room of adults. I know that as a Republican, it's okay. Bad behavior is expected. And given that I am Lauren Bam from the bowling alley, Bobert, I don't know how to behave in any situation. I mean, I'm the dumb bitch that stood up on the chairs and screamed at the President of the United States during the State of the Union, embarrassing myself and the Congress, the whole esteem of the Congress. I sully it every time I enter that place. But, a bunch of dumb bastards voted for me. So, I get to behave however I want. And you just got to take it. It's like George Santos. This is who we are. You want the circus? Here's the clowns. Except they're not very entertaining. They're more like the frightening, scary clowns that you have in your nightmares. A report from the staff of the Denver Arts and Venue say that 3 people complained at intermission, and included this tidbit. about what Boebert said as she was leaving the building. Stuff like, do you know who I am? How many times do we have to hear that story, really, of various Republicans? It applies to various, right? Am I wrong here? You know, Matt Gaetz being dragged out of a bar saying, do you know who I am? Don't you know who my daddy is? That's who they are. They're horrible people who don't know how to act. She said, I'm on the board and I will be contacting the mayor. What are you going to say to the mayor? First of all, you're not on the board. You're a liar. And what are you going to say to the mayor? I wasn't allowed to vape. I wasn't allowed to disrupt the show. I wasn't allowed to record the show against all theater policy everywhere in every theater that ever exists since the creation of the goddamn camera. Since recording devices came into vogue, I wasn't allowed to do something that nobody's allowed to do ever at a live performance. And, you know, I should be allowed to do these things because I am Lauren, banned from the bowling alley, Boebert. Being banned from the bowling alley didn't get me banned from Congress because you're in the right party. That's it. This would never fly. You understand? Like, Democrats would show me a comparable story. Show me one of the squad behaving like this. They don't. Both sides, though. No, there's no both sides. One side is packed to the gills with horrible, terrible people who are not in it for altruism. They are disturbed and sociopathic. They're selfish. They're in it to ingratiate themselves. They like the power. They will do anything for the power. They think that they deserve it, even though they are unfit. They don't know their limitations. It's part of their manias, their insanity, and they're inflicting it on this country. They're dragging us down. They don't know how to act, and they're disgracing us all. It's an embarrassment. They should be embarrassed, you see. She should be embarrassed. The only thing she should have said is, I'm sorry. Right? That's it. I am sorry. I fucked up. But I'm sorry. You know, there's nothing else I can say. But that's not in their vocabulary. Being a Republican means never saying sorry. They never apologize. Of course not. That's why she's saying, I'm calling the mayor. I will be contacting the mayor. Do it. Do it. Contact him. Please, I'll contact him right now. What are you going to say? Okay. As the article continues, Bobert is not on the board of Denver's Center for the Performing Arts, but this is who they are. It's like George Santos. You know, I'm a volleyball star. I own a hedge fund. My parents, everybody died in the Holocaust. Everybody I ever knew died in the Holocaust. I'm a billionaire. I'm a financier. I have 15 properties. I can't collect any rent on them. When will this evil eviction moratorium end? The only reason that I have a roof over my head is because of the eviction moratorium, but I'm pretending I can't get my rent from the 15 properties I don't actually own. But I'm a financier, which means what? When you're nothing but a parasite, a financier. That's what, that's Boebert. I'm a congresswoman. I'm a financier. I'm an astronaut. I'm the Jets quarterback. I'm the whole starting lineup. I'm a champion chess player. I went to the North Pole. I'm the first person that went from north to south 5 times. All the poles. I hit all the poles everywhere. Jesus Christ. I'm on the board. If you were on the board, is that how you behave? I'm on the board. Don't you know who I am? God, I wish there was audio, I wish. Boebert is not on the board. I doubt she would, and the article says, if she were, I doubt she would support the DCPA's commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion, of course. I'm more than a little skeptical that Denver's new mayor would call in a favor for a family member acting so rudely at a play, let alone Boebert. Boebert's behavior is what voters would expect from a power-hungry politician convinced that their own self-worth puts their needs and desires above others. It is a caricature, but hardly anyone from Congress behaves that way, even though there's ample evidence of some vanity and conceit, because the public backlash is so great. But it's a pattern of behavior from Boebert, who doesn't seem to think rules apply to her. All right, get down, Junior. Whether it's health and safety rules in her now closed restaurant, remember them? When everybody got the shits? Because, who needs regulation? Those filthy business-killing regulations. Never mind the filthy E. coli that you get. Because Boebert is serving food probably not up to temperature, safe temperatures and things like that. That's what happened. And then everybody got sick. Because, you got to make a buck. You got to make it fast. You got to make it, give me that money. Those job-killing regulations. Never mind people killing, but okay. So whether it's health and safety rules in her now closed restaurant or refusing to show up to court dates. Oh yeah, that's the other thing she was arrested for. That's right. She had a warrant out because she didn't show up for her court date. Right? Where is it? Oh, it won't let me in because there's a paywall. There she is. There's your congresswoman. You should be so very proud, Republicans. Aren't you proud of them all being a bunch of crooks? So, whether it's health and safety rules or refusing to show up for court dates and other dramas unfolding with her family and friends in Garfield County, there's no question that Boebert, whose ex-husband made nearly $1 million in 2 years as an oil and gas consultant before Boebert filed for divorce this year, considers herself beyond reproach. Oh, well, he had no, because they talk about Hunter Biden has no business being on an oil board or whatever. But what does he have? He's got no business being on as a consultant to oil and gas. He's a guy that, does he have a college degree? No. Hunter Biden has more experience. At least he went to Yale. He got a friggin' degree from Yale. Let's see. Laura, let's see. Does Jason... Let's ask the stupid AI. Let's see what it says. Does Jason Boebert have a college degree? Oh, okay, he does. He earned a bachelor's degree in social studies. What does that have to do with oil and gas? From Colorado Mesa University. What does that have to do with being able to or earning qualifying for a salary of $1 million? Well, I think it was $500,000 a year, at which he got when his banned from the bowling alley bitch ex-wife, soon to be ex, became a member of Congress. Oh, but Hunter Biden he's benefiting from the Biden name. Can you fucking believe these people? As for the performance, the source says, it was wonderful. I wish I would have been able to enjoy the first half as much. Who's going to vote for her again? You know, she almost lost. Oh, God. One day soon. Can these people just be in the rearview mirror already? You know? I'm so sick of it. Well, you know what, guys? I think we're going to call it a night. I have more things to talk about. We'll talk about it on Friday. God knows what's going to happen. As you can hear, I'm losing my voice. I don't know why that happens all the time. Maybe it's the way it is with my voice. It's just tired. It's tired. So let's get back here on... I have other things to talk about. We have so much to talk about. I wanted to talk about Manchin making the poverty, being single-handed, and Republicans, excuse me. So he's not single-handedly. Conservatives being single-handedly responsible for increasing child poverty, doubling the child poverty rate. Because pro-baby. Also, I wanted to talk about Kennedy. We could talk about it on Friday. Reading from a book. Reading a gay sex scene from a book. And Republicans going on about how this is a book for kids. Kids are... It's not a kid's book. It's a book for young adults. You know what young adult is? 18 to 25. That's what a young adult is. But Republicans all over are hyping it as, oh, it's a book for kids and it has stories about dicks and dildos, which is completely taken out of context, of course, and I'm sure not the entire book. But yes, and then I wanted to talk about what else? This other... We could talk about it on Friday. We have the whole show then, right there. This maggot mayoral candidate who made up friends and supporters and just stole pictures of people off the internet and said that these are my friends and supporters. Because I guess making actual friends and supporters is just a bridge too far for them. All right. Listen, I wish my voice wasn't going, but Listen. Guys, thank you for hanging out. It's short and sweet tonight. I think it's good to be that way. I have to get more succinct, maybe. But this is the way it is. It's a Tarabuster. Thank you for hanging out tonight. I really appreciate all your support. If you can become a patron, please do at patreon.com/Tara Devlin. I want to thank you for everything, for being a friend, for being a supporter, for sharing the show with your friends. I want to thank Harry Bryan, who sent me a payment, a one-off from PayPal donation without any messages, so I don't... Oh, wait. That is from... excuse me. That is from a merch purchase. Yes, okay. Very good. Very good. Merch on the way. And, yeah, thank you, Charlie, for always being in my corner from APS Radio News. And remember, thank you, Winston. Winston says, thanks for having a midweek show. Thank you. I'm glad I could, and glad to see you. Winston, thank you for hanging out. Thank you, Haku, for being a moderator and always being here. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Jim, for being a moderator and for your super chat. Thank you so much. And thank you, Terry. I see you there, Terry. Thank you, Errol and Robin and Winston and Larry. Thank you, Larry. Nice to see you. Nice to see you, Sage. Nice to see you. Who else is here that I could say hello? Errol. Did I say Errol? It doesn't matter. I'll say it again. The Bears. I just thought of, what was that from? The Brady Bunch. Say it again. The Bears. Who? Something. The Bears. All right. Listen. Nice to see you, Robin. We will win. And I'll have a report for you about Boudica on Friday. My little Booty Boo. Where is Booty Boo? She's such a good girl. She's so cute. I gotta get her on camera. The way she stretches. She puts her little paws out and then she closes her eyes. She looks so cute. She's so adorable. Like a little baby doll. And we will win. Remember, we're on the right side of history. We're on the right side of decency, dignity, democracy, humanity. Thank you so much for hanging out, my friends. My name is Tara Devlin. If you can become a patron, please do at patreon.com/Tara Devlin. Give the show a good review and share it with your friends. And I will see you on Friday night.